Good evening. Welcome to a Project Borough live stream on a Friday night. Appreciate anyone who jumps on a Friday night. I'm sure you've all got much better things to be doing on a Friday night when the weather's good than sat watching, listening to me ramble about Borough. But you rarely get a chance to do these Project Borough live streams, so I thought screw it. We'll see. We'll see who jumps in. See what we get going chat-wise, and, well, see if there's anything to talk about regarding Borough at the moment. Because, yeah, it's safe to say it's not been the greatest of summers. So we'll, yeah, keep an eye on the chat. Let me know if the audio's good, no lagging. Doesn't look too bad my end. But if there's any issues, do let me know. But, yeah, feel free to drop any questions in the comments. We can chat about anything and everything Borough. It doesn't even have to be about Borough, to be honest with you. There's probably more interesting things to talk about at the minute than Middlesbrough Football Club because there's nothing going on. But, yes, welcome to everyone who has opted to jump on. I appreciate anyone who has joined me on a Friday night because it's quite nice outside, but, yeah. We'll see. See what the evening brings. Of course, we are midway through July. Preseason starts tomorrow. I am off to Mansfield tomorrow. I can't lie, I was quite excited for Mansfield a few weeks ago, but at the minute, I don't know. Borough have somehow managed to make the summer feel a little bit flat. So. Yeah, I don't know how they've managed that, but they have. Yeah, if anyone could jump in and make sure everything's working all right, just leave me a comment just to say so. Comments are on. Everything should be working well. Hoping there's not much delay on the comments. Hey, we've got one. Janino's the first person to comment. What a great name. That's the first name I wanted to see in the comments. Janino98 with a thumbs up. I'm assuming that's to say everything's working good, which is awesome. But yeah, do feel free to let me know your thoughts on Borough's summer because yeah, I'm really interested to see what the general consensus is amongst fans. Because I still think there's some fans that are okay, they're quite calm. Other fans are panicking, really, really worrying. I can kind of see both sides. Caleb's Kingdom, hello Matt, good evening. Good evening, pal. Thank you for jumping in on this Friday evening. I know I said I would start at 7:30, but was free and got going a little bit earlier. So, do you think Edwards will play with two up top? I don't know. I really don't know. At this point, I don't even think we can be sure if he's playing with a back three or not. You know, you'd think new signings would give us. Okay, my watch has just started talking to me. Yeah, you'd think. What was I saying? Yeah, you'd think new signings would give us an idea on what the formation's going to look like. But honestly, we don't even know if it's going to be a 3. We don't know if it's going to be a 4. We don't know if he's sticking with the same formation that he did that Michael Carrick utilised. He could go with 1 10 behind 2 strikers. He could go with 2 10s behind 1 striker. I think at the minute, with the lack of strikers, he can only go off of 1 striker. Even if we do sign Danny Ings, you know, I don't want him starting every week. So I think at the minute we've only got the personnel to play 1 up top. But he has had an effective spell at Luton where he played 2 up top. So could work. Depends on recruitment, to which there has been none. 0. So Yeah. Davey Richardson, see you there, buddy. Would have been nice to see some new incomings. Yes, it would have. It would. Yeah, if you'd have told me we'd get to the middle of July and we'd still have no signings, wouldn't have believed you. Wouldn't have believed you. But here we are. And as I say, we are one of only 3 teams in the whole championship who've not bought a player yet. Please, someone make sense of that, please. Please. How are there other clubs in this league who have equally had new managers, who've had to come in, get used to their new surroundings, new squad? They've been able to get signings through the door, and yet we, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why is my X being weird? Yeah, I've just been reading on Twitter that Birmingham are looking to bid 8 million for someone. Honestly, I don't even know where. I mean, the money that's getting thrown around this summer by championship clubs is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's more competitive than ever. And I'll be honest, I'm starting to see Borough slip. So I think we were once a top-end championship club, one of the most attractive clubs to join in the league. I feel like now we've just dropped out of the playoff top 6. We're now a top 8 to top 10 team. You're seeing Wrexham, you're seeing Birmingham, you're seeing them teams come up. You're seeing Coventry, they're probably above us now. They've gone beyond. Sunderland left us for dead. And even if these teams come up and come back down, they've got parachute payments, they're still in the same league but ahead of us. I feel like we're dropping into just being a completely bang average championship club. And we're not quite as attractive as we once were, which is a harsh reality, I think, that's starting to sort of hit me. I'd love to be wrong. But yeah, two playoff finishes in, 8 years? It's just not good. It's not good reading, is it, really? When that's our goal every season, and we plough money in most seasons, and we've got nothing to show from it. James Cole, thanks for joining me, bud. Why don't we just pay the money Blackburn want for Britain? Well, who knows the answer to that, mate? I get from one point that we've got that many targets we need to get in. You don't want to overspend too quick, too early, and then not have enough money for the other targets. But then at the same time, if we're expecting Rav or Hackney to go, then you're going to have money there at some point, additional money at some point in the summer. It sounds like we are going to have to pay up, though, and I think we will. I think this week we'll have to pay up. There's been a couple of rumours today. There was a rumour that it was collapsing. Then it was counteracted by, no, Borough are going to increase their bid. Yeah, I think we've tried to play a hardball with Blackburn, and they are historically quite an annoying team to negotiate with. I feel like we've got to just cough up the cash to get him in. But the thing is, that's only the first signing. Do you know what I mean? That's only the first signing. We've still got 7 or 8 other players to maybe get in, and it's took us this long to even make progress on one. So, I mean, even if we get Britain over the line, it's like, oh, hallelujah, we're off the mark. But off the mark, it's pre-season tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? I did not expect Borough's transfer window to be this slow. We were told, regardless of manager, we have targets that we'll sign regardless of the manager. We have a recruitment strategy. We have targets that are for Middlesbrough regardless of the manager. And the manager will come and go, and it doesn't make a difference to our recruitment. Well, if so, where are them long-term targets that we would have been scouting last season? Clearly, they're not there at the moment. It feels like we've had to sort of rejig our whole scouting recruitment strategy this summer for Edwards. And it's nothing against Edwards, but I'm sort of thinking to myself, well, if we are needing to rejig everything, and it's taking us so long to shift our style of recruitment and the players we're targeting, why did we bring him in? Do you know what I mean? It's nothing against Edwards. It's just mixed messages from, right, this is what we want to do from a recruitment point of view. consistent style, consistent squad. The recruitment, the targets are all going to stay the same every season. And then all of a sudden this summer, yeah, nothing. So weird. But anyway, yeah, long story short, mate, I think we will pay up for Britain. I think he's worth it, to be honest. He is touted as one of the best right backs in the league. When it comes to like Alfie Jones, I don't think we'll pay. I think Wrexham paying $3 million. I wouldn't pay $3 million for. I wouldn't pay $3 million for him. I think we can find better centre half. So I would leave that one. And then there's loads of other players we've been linked with all summer that have just nothing's come of them links. Sonty Janssen, Sulk from Czech. There's been a few. Alfie Gilchrist. It's gone quiet there. So I don't know. God knows what's going on. Caleb, I'm quite worried about the lack of business. Yeah, me too. I earmarked the end of this week as the deadline to which I thought, right, if we go beyond this week with no signings, then I'll start to twitch. And I've probably started twitching a bit earlier, to be honest with you. The last couple of days I think it's not just Borough not signing anybody. It's the fact that everyone else is signed. Like, Watford have just signed someone. Who Watford just signed? I mean, they're a crazy club, right? They have a new manager every 5 minutes. And they've just signed their 8th signing of the summer. And he's from Bayern Munich. He's from Bayern Munich. They've just from Bayern Munich. 8th signing of the summer. New manager. So it's that. I think it's seeing what other clubs are doing that's winding me up more than... But Borough's lack of business is winding me up as well. Davey thinks it'll speed up next week. I hope so, mate, because I thought that a week ago about this week, and here we are. Andrew Stubbs, thanks for joining me, mate. What's your thoughts to the links that have come out today in Michael Smith and Tyler Morton? Yeah, I think with Callum Britton, as I say, I think we are going to go back in and match what Blackburn want, because I think we have to. There's no point starting again on another right back. I think the pressure's starting to probably kick in at Rockcliffe to get signings in through the door, so I think we're going to have to do that. The Northern Echo said earlier that Michael Smith is an absolute nothing story. There's no interest in him whatsoever, which I'm glad about, to be honest. I'm not a fan of that. Tyler Morton would be brilliant. If we lost Hackney, then Tyler Morton would be a brilliant signing. And he would be one of them long-term targets I was mentioning, you know, the ones who we've been looking at for years, we've been trying to get. He's been on our radar for a long time. He would be the sort of player that would fit that recruitment, that sort of signing that we've been looking for. So, yeah, he would be good. But it's all links, isn't it? We've been linked with so many players, but nothing concrete's really happened. Caleb, I feel like the PSR reason for Borough not signing on is bullcrap. I don't know with PSR. Honestly, I don't know. We don't know how much of the money that's been recouped has gone back into the club, has gone back in Gibson's pocket, is paying for the Lecky bill at the Riverside. Don't know. No idea. No idea how it works. Tarnish7, evening Matt, evening Bud. Feeling really deflated at the moment and got bad feelings about the season if we don't get transfers sorted out. If we can't even sort a contract for Howson, then we're struggling. That's it. I mean, no one knows what's happened with Howson. There was rumours last week that he was joining the coaching team, but even that's not been announced yet. So, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I'm feeling the same, mate, to be honest. As I was saying, I should be really excited and up for Mansfield tomorrow. You know, it's the first Borough game since May. New coaching team. You should be right up for it. And a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't wait for Mansfield. I was like, I'm so excited. And yet, between then and now, yeah, I'm now going to tomorrow's game thinking, I'm intrigued to see how we play. I'm intrigued to see the formation, because we don't know what system he's going to go with. So it will be interesting to see who he plays where and how different we are as a team. But I can't say I'm excited at all. And as for the season, yeah, I'm dreading it more than anything. I think at the minute, August's going to be horrible for us if we don't get some signings through quickly. I mean, 3 weeks away. 3 weeks. It's crazy. Michael, dead right, Matt, have been for years. AC30 edits. Hello, Matt. Hello, buddy. I know you said you were going to join, so I appreciate you jumping in. Tom Miklos, you alright, bud? The necessity of starting well is huge. Last season, we did a lot of business early and had a decent-ish start. The lack of signings / rumours really concerns me about a slow start like the past 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it's a staple of Borough, isn't it? We never start well. I'm not looking at it as in like, oh my god, we might be 10 points off top by, September, because yeah, I don't think we should even be taking a look at the top of the league, to be honest. Just nowhere near. So even if we're like, because Coventry showed last season you could be 10 points off playoffs, even as late as January, February, you could still make a late run for it. So I'm not, with my expectations of Borough this season, I'm not as upset about a slow start. But obviously, you're right. You want to get off to a good start regardless of what your goals are, because it's just momentum, it's good feeling, and we always start slowly. And if we're not going to get most of the squad in till August, late August, we're going to be looking till after the first international break at the very earliest. And our first four, we've got Swansea at home, which feels like a must-win, because then we go to Millwall, who've had their manager in for a while. He duped us last season. It's always a tricky game. Norwich have lost their two best players, but they've reinvested well. At home, I think they'll be a problem. And then we've got Sheffield United at the Riverside. I mean, no one knows what Sheffield United are going to be like, but how many of them games in them first four can you genuinely say will win? Off the top of your head. I think we could beat Swansea, maybe Sheffield United, depending on the position they're in. But yeah, as for the away games, I mean, I have no idea. So we could be going into the first international break, bottom half, still trying to scramble signings. It could be ugly. It really could. So I'm very much preparing myself for that. Ron, hi Ron. Hopefully we can get all of our targets at the start of the season, but it's the Borough way, and we do everything the hard way. We do, but I feel like even this summer we're making it especially hard for ourselves. Like we always do things the hard way, but we're doing it especially hard this time because we literally have no signings, and the only other two clubs that have no signings is Leicester, who've just appointed a manager, and Sheffield Wednesday, who are literally nailed on to be bottom of the league. So, yeah. The fact that we're the only team who you wouldn't you wouldn't consider a basket case from the outset anyway. We're the only one who's not made any signings. I mean, what the hell? What the hell is going on? Jonathan Grayson, good evening, Matt. Good evening, my friend. Hope you're well, besides the lack of signings. So, yeah. With the links we have, are you excited if we get them in? Ings, Britton, Jones, etc. Britton, yeah. I'd like Britton. Still, it is not known whether we'll play with four and he'll be a right back or a right wing back in a five. But, yeah, I think he'd be a good signing. Alfie Jones, I really am not bothered if he goes elsewhere. Yeah, don't mind so much. Ings, it's such a divisive one. I'd take him, absolutely, because he's on a free. If his wages aren't ridiculous, I'd take him. But I don't feel comfortable him being the only backup for Tommy Conway. So I'd take Ings if he's managed properly and he's not the only other option to Tommy Conway. I'm trying to think who else is linked. The young Dutch winger, Sontje Janssen, I think he'd be fantastic. As would Sulch from the Czech League. Tyler Morton would be good. Alfie Dougherty would be good. We've been linked with some people. Alfie Gilchrist would be good. So all the players we've been linked with, I can't shake a stick at. I really can't. I can't knock the players we're linked with. I think the links are quite promising. It's all whether we can actually get the deals done. I mean, if we get a lot of them players in, it could really change the perception of the season, really. If we're playing with a back five, you get a centre-back in, and you have Britton on the right, Dougherty on the left, Morton alongside Morris. I know it's easy saying this, with then maybe Azaz and Conway up front. It depends again what he wants to do up front with wingers or inside forwards. I don't know. I think them signings make a good team, genuinely. And I think the way that Edwards wants to play, I think suits us more because it will, I think, solid us up, but we'll also be a threat because we've got good attacking players. So if he can just tweak us to being a bit more solid at the back, and he's talked about making us a tougher team, a more direct team, I'm all for it. Honestly, I think honestly, if things do go well, the Borough fans could really resonate with Edwards' football because it is very aggressive. We're getting in the face of the opposition. It's just, honestly, everything we've done up until this point has been really good. The meet the staff events, the kit, beautiful. The coaching team he's brought in around him is spot on. The final piece of the jigsaw is literally recruitment. Get it right, we're sorted. But we couldn't have made it any more difficult for ourselves to start with. That's the frustrating thing. But the links, I think, are good. But whether we can pull them off is another question, isn't it? David Richards, who would you ideally like up front? I'd break the bank for Sargent. Well, unfortunately, pal, Sargent is off to Wolfsburg. It dropped earlier this evening. Wolfsburg have signed him, I think, or are signing him for up to 21 million. So we wouldn't be able to compete with that anyway. So Norwich have lost Sainz for 14 million, Sargent for 21. So they've lost their two biggest players for 30 plus million, but they've brought in a striker for 7 million. No doubt they'll reinvest, so I think Norwich will be fine. They're doing it the right way, whereas we've still got Rav and Hackney here. And I'm not wanting to push the lads out the door. If they stay, brilliant, but they're not. They're not going to stay, are they? Let's be honest. I'm like, God, just no offence, Hackney, Rav. If you're going to go, please go now, so we can actually sort ourselves out. But it's so frustrating being a club like us. Andy Simpson, hi Matt, what do you think Steve Gibson, I'm assuming, is doing with the cash from Elath, Rogers, Jones, and potentially Hackney? Rav Vandenberg and Azaz, what is the budget? Yeah, I don't think the budget's as big as we hoped it would be. I don't know what it is. I don't think anybody does, but I don't believe in the narrative that we've got a war chest. I also don't believe in the narrative that we're absolutely skint, because we're not skint, I don't think. But I think we are more limited than what we thought we would be. So I don't think we need to sell Hackney and Rav to buy anyone, because we've bid for Britain. We believe to have bid for, was it Alfie Jones we were going to bid for? So you've already got like two bids that total 5 million, there or thereabouts, that we've bid. So there's money there. We don't have to sell Hackney and Rav, but the money there is probably not much. So I think we're limited. Obviously, if we sell one of them, then we'll have a little bit more, you'd think. But I think he's probably putting the money into running the club. I think he's covering his own losses because he puts that much in. He'll have lost money, and there's probably a lot more intricacies to do with it that we just don't know of. You know, business things. That I just don't think we'll know the intricacies of. So I don't think we'll ever know truly. Eddie Dean says, we were told Carrick was offered Strelic in Jan. Where is the money gone? Yeah, no idea. And we went and got Iheanacho instead. Great. I'd love Strelic. He looked a player. I thought we'd go back in for him, but I'm sure Craig John said at some point on a podcast that we weren't going to go back in for Strelic. I have no idea why. I think he maybe wants to go to Celtic or something. I think there's a couple of clubs he wants to go to that we can't compete with. So whether the moment to get him was then, I don't know, but there's been no real links to Strelic this summer, has there? Ron, guaranteed we will leave it till the end of the transfer window and sell our best players we don't learn. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, mate. I can't remember who I was saying it to the other day, but I can absolutely see 100% we'll sell them late in the window, and we probably won't replace them properly. A bit like with Elath. Which is why, like I said, no offence to Hackney and Rav, but I just want to just sort your future out, please, so we can crack on. Jack, you don't think Borough have made signings but somehow managed to keep the under wraps to trollers, do you? You don't think Borough have made signings but have somehow managed to keep the under wraps to trollers, do you? I'm not sure what you mean, pal. As in, like, we've got stuff under wraps? I don't know. I don't know. Caleb's Kingdom, are you surprised we haven't been linked to a left back? A little bit. there were links to Doherty at the start of the window, and then it was mentioned that Luton want quite a bit for him. Even though he's in League One, he did sign a new contract last season, which is a huge problem for Luton, because Alfie Doherty should not be playing in League One. I mean, he probably shouldn't even be in the Championship, but he'd be the one for me. But I think the understanding is that left back's just not a priority. Not as much as other positions. So I think that's the idea. We're going for right back because, let's be honest, right back we are absolutely... I mean, we've got nobody. So there are other positions that are priority over left back. But I do think at the same time it will become a priority position at some point, and I think we've got to go for Alfie Doherty. It depends. I think we might have to sell Hackney or Rav if we want to really go in for Doherty, but he'd be fantastic. He'd be brilliant, honestly. Such an incredibly creative left back, left wing back, and he played under Edwards. 8 assists in the Premier League with Luton. Yeah, Alfie Doherty all the way for me. I think it's just going to be a little bit of time before we get round to it. I bloody hope so anyway. Luke says, I'm becoming very deflated right now. It's a Carrick squad with a new manager, not a recipe. Yeah, it depends how much this new squad can adapt to Edwards, and at the same time, how much is Edwards willing to adapt to the new squad? When he interviewed for the job, it was mentioned that what impressed Borough was his knowledge of the squad, and I think his ideas of what he wanted to do with the squad. So Edwards clearly has an idea of what he wants to do with Borough's squad, but he is going to have to tweak it to get them playing his way, because he wants such an aggressive, high-pressing team, a direct team, and Borough last season were the opposite. We're very tippy-tappy, very slow. Off the ball, we were shocking, whereas under Edwards, off the ball, you are like 1,000 miles an hour, getting into the opposition, pressing the instant you lose it. So he's going to have to do an outstanding job on the coaching and on the training ground to get this squad playing his way properly. But some of them might surprise us. Some of the players might surprise us and do a really good job. Some others might not. We won't know until we start to see friendlies and how the personnel adapt. Hopefully starting tomorrow at Mansfield. Bon Porvorus. It seems we have financial problems, so play academy players who will give their all. Well, I don't know how to what extent we have financial problems, but I think we're just stricken by the joys of being a championship club with no parachute payments, to be honest. As for the academy, Edwards did say at the Meet the Staff event he would be more than willing to give academy players a chance if they're good enough. He's not going to do it for the absolute sake of it. He did take Sonny Finch, Luke Woolston, McCormick. There was a few youngsters in Portugal, which is promising. But as he says, they've got to be good enough. You can't just do it for the sake of doing it. So we'll see. I think if they're good enough, they'll play. Time will tell. Luke says, I'd happily take Ben Doak back. I think we all would. But we ain't affording him, I'm afraid. He got an assist for Liverpool in pre-season, didn't he? Oh, man. Oh, I hope we can strike gold on a Ben Doak again. Because he wasn't planned. He just come up at the last minute. Borough swooped in and nicked him off of loads of other teams. Oh, I just love us to just pull a Ben Doak out the blue this summer. But anything like that probably won't happen until the very end of August anyway. But we ain't getting Ben Doak back here. No chance. Tarnish 7, the Millwall game. Whoops. The Millwall game has got a Coburn Coburn hat-trick. I thought you were going to say a last-minute winner. A hat-trick. I've been a fan since I was 4 in 1971. This season is not exciting me at all. No, me neither, mate. And yeah, you can see it, can't you? Josh Coburn winner in the second game of this. Is it the second game of the season? God. Yeah, I'm not feeling excited either. I can't pretend that I'm like massively unhappy because I wanted a new manager. I wanted a new coach. We got that. We've got a very good coaching team in. So everything I wanted us to do, we've done, except sign players. So it could change if we do start bringing players in. But my expectations of this season are literally zero. I sort of made a rule to myself after last season that I was not going to predict us to do anything special. I'm going to really lower my prediction, and if anything better happens, it'll be a bonus. But I think I'm not massively excited because I'm not expecting anything. Like, I literally am not expecting a thing from this season. I don't know whether to spoil where I think we'll finish at this moment in time, but yeah, no expectations. I'm just sort of open to wherever this season goes. It could go any which way. Caleb says, did you the winger we linked did repost of? Oh yeah, I think you're referring to Sonjay Janssen. Yeah, I saw him repost a TikTok compilation, which was interesting, wasn't it? I'd like him. He looks like a good player. And he's come through from Ajax, which is an instant green flag for me. Luke UTB, I think we're waiting to get the money for either Rav or Hackney. Well, as I say, we have already started bidding anyway, so I don't think we're waiting, as in we're not going to make any signings. But I think it's very hard for us to budget what we want to do and how many players we're going to get and what players we can compete with until one or both of them go. Because you could literally go from having a pot of, say we have a pot of 5 million at the minute. If they both go and you get 25 million for Hackney, 15 million for Rav, you could get 40 million pounds coming in, right? Now, not all of that's going to go on signings, and the buying clubs might pay in instalments, right? So we might not even get half of that up front, but we might get 15 million quid up front for that. That might give us an extra 8, 9, 10 million quid to spend. It makes a huge difference when it comes to competing for players, going for top targets, wages. So it's important that we decide what we're doing with them, because I think equally, if Borough can hold on to them both, I don't blame us for trying, but there needs to come a point this window where a line is drawn. Because unlike what happened last season, well, I laugh, a line wasn't drawn, and we all saw what happened in January. You know, a line wasn't drawn. It wasn't a right, anything past this date is a no-go. If nothing happens after this date, you're staying. End of conversation. If you're going to leave, a club has to bid for you before this date. It was sort of us just going, well, whatever, we'll see what happens. And it went all the way to deadline day, and then into January. They need to set a date when they can say, right, if Hackney and Rav are going to leave, it has to be before this date. I know I'm making it sound easy. This might not be how football works, but I'd love it to be, if there's no bids after this date, you're staying. End of story. And I think Hackney would be fine with that. I honestly don't think Hackney wants to leave. I absolutely don't blame him if the Premier League team comes knocking, or a Bundesliga team, because he's ready for the next step up. And if I was him, I'd take the next step if it's there. But I don't think Hackney would kick and scream his way out of Borough. Rav might do. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I do think it will help us so much if we can get money for one of them or both of them. Billy says Edwards or Carrick. I don't know if that's strictly within Borough context, because you can't judge them yet. But as managers, Edwards. Because let's be honest, what has Carrick achieved in his managerial career? One playoff finish. That's it. His teams play good football. Or do they? I mean, we didn't for a while. To be fair, it's a bit of a myth, but Edwards, 2 promotions on his CV, and I don't like to say 2 relegations, because even though they are on paper, there's no shame in getting Luton Town relegated from the Premier League. He had 8 bad months last season, so I think for getting Luton Town in the Premier League on its own is a bigger achievement than anything Carrick's done in his short career. So I would say Rob Edwards, based off of their CVs. But obviously at the minute, Edwards' stock is really low. But if it was a year ago, off the back of him managing Luton in the Premier League, it would be Rob Edwards without a doubt. So I don't want one bad year to suddenly make Edwards seem like he's a crap manager and Carrick's better, because at the end of the day, Carrick didn't actually achieve anything at Borough, if we're brutally honest. So I'd say Rob Edwards. Melly says, first game against Swansea should be a breeze with, what's that, Snoop Dogg's new relaxed training methods. God knows what he'll have Snoop Dogg, what Snoop Dogg will have them smoking down at the Swansea.com stadium. We're having an interesting conversation about this on X, though. A few of us have been chatting about this, and I get that it's cringy and corny, right? They've got Luka Modric and Snoop Dogg, and Birmingham have got Tom Brady, and they're all American, and Wrexham have got 2 Hollywood actors. But genuinely, right, I don't like the Americanism, the Americanized way that football's going. I don't like it as much as the next guy. But that's the way football's going, right? And if there's one thing Borough could benefit from, it's being better from a commercial and a revenue point of view. So I would not be against Borough doing that. Getting a American celebrity or an American sports star, investing in the club. Because at the end of the day, imagine an NBA player out of nowhere invested in Borough. You've then got their entire fan base who'll be interested in Borough. You've opened yourself up to a brand new audience of people, probably in America. You could do partnerships with the NBA teams that he's at. It opens up so much stuff. And yeah, it's cringy and it's Americanized. And I know a lot of old-fashioned football fans will hate it. But it's the way the game's going. And I'd love a random American celebrity or sportsman or whatever to just invest in Borough. Yeah, if you've got any random US celebrities or sports stars who could invest in Borough that you would find funny, drop them in the comments. I'd like to read them. But yeah, Snoop Dogg's hilarious. Luke says, do you rate Rav, by the way? I don't rate him as highly as I think some fans. I'm going to be brutally honest. Yeah, he's had a bit of a poor season. I still think he'll go to the top and he'll go all the way in football, but as it stands, I'm not massively enamoured by Rav. I think we could sell him for 15 million and probably bring in 2 or 3 defenders for that would be just as good as him at the minute. But in 5 to 10 years' time, it wouldn't surprise me if we're looking back and going, wow, he's playing for Holland in the national team in the World Cup, and we're going, wow, what a player. Annie Simpson, knowing Borough trying to get players on the cheap, our next left back will be Gabby Carter. Who the hell's Gabby Carter? Is that? I'm guessing was that someone who was playing for England last night in the Women's Euros? I'm not as clued up with the Lionesses. I love Borough women. I'm going to be following Borough women a lot this season, but I'm not I don't really watch the Lionesses as much. I love Borough's women's team, but I'm going to assume that's one of the Lionesses. Not sure. The VRGK. I think I saw you comment on a YouTube. No, you were in the stream first. Thank you for jumping in, mate. Wrexham now favourites for the whole centre back. Yep, 3 million. I'd if we don't want to spend 3 million on Alfie Jones, I'm happy. I'd rather spend money elsewhere. I'm not too bothered about that. UTFB 1986. David Dickinson FC cheapest chips. That's just made me think of Borough players draped in fake tan, extremely orange, because David Dickinson was always extremely orange, wasn't he? Dave Richardson, I'm sure the recruitment team will have a plan to get the targets. Lesson must be learned, surely. I think we'll be okay. Where do you think Neto's future lies? I hope you're right on that, mate. Again, Neto, it depends what system. We don't know what system we're playing. Tomorrow, I think we'll know for sure. If we're playing a back 5, I would like Neto to be a left centre half. I don't want him as a wing back. I think we saw last season when he played as a left centre back, he looked really decent, to be fair. So I'd happily have Neto as a left centre half in a back 3. If we're playing a back four, I'm just not as big of a fan of him at left back. I think I'd rather have Bangura if fit. So I hope a back three with Neto as a left centre half. I think he'd offer us a good balance on the left hand side, and I think he'd do well there. Godlife, hello Matt. What I'm worried about is the lack of signings makes me feel it's going to take 2 to 3 months into the season before we can put anything together. Yeah, I completely agree with that, mate. I think exactly the same. I think at the minute you're looking at September, the international break, maybe after the international break. I mean, I know there'll be other clubs who probably have already made signings that'll have a slow start, so it's not all on that, but yeah, 100% we've got to be more prepared than this. I agree. Luke says, I think signings will come, it's just what Borough do, and take their time with it. It is what Borough do. I completely agree, mate. With Doak, they do say, fall in love with a low player. Yeah, well, we do it every season, mate. We do it every season. Every season, we fall in love with a lone player. Who's the lone player we're going to fall in love with this season? It certainly wasn't Kelechi Iheanacho. Christ. Watch him rock up at, like, I don't know, Hull and score 15 goals or something. I can see it. I can see it happening. 12th at best. Oh, no, I've skipped a couple of comments. Apologies. A tarnished 7. We might have to change Edwards' nickname to Baldrick because he must have a cunning plan. That is a brilliant Blackadder reference, and I'm all for it. You might have thought I was too young to get that Blackadder reference, but Baldrick, what's the actor's name? I'm going to double check the actor's name because I don't want to say Tommy Robinson because we all know a certain Tommy Robinson that you don't want to talk about. Tony Robinson, not Tommy Robinson, Christ. I knew his name was different. Yeah, Tony Robinson. Loved Baldrick. Well, there was a quote that used to crack me up as a kid. What was it? Baldrick, there was a really funny quote that used to crack me up as a kid from Blackadder. I can't remember it. Was it something like, you wouldn't know a cunning plan if it jumped on top of a table, slapped you in the face, stripped naked, painted itself purple and shouted, I'm a cunning plan, or something like that. Oh, God. Loved it. Michael Harvey says 12th at best. Yeah, at the minute, I would say 12th to 14th at the minute. I don't see this current squad getting top half. No chance. Janino says, are you going to Rangers? Yes. And I am excited for that. I am excited for Rangers. Just for the away day, more than anything. Ibrox should be brilliant. Chris. Everybody say hello to Chris. Chris Borough UTB, my Project Borough partner in crime, is in the chat. Hope you're having a good Friday night, mate, and I hope you're enjoying your 5th barbecue this month. Which positions do you think are most in need of reinforcements? Which positions aren't? Right back. I'm gonna say this is us playing a back 5. Right wing back. We need 2 players at least. Centre half, I dare say we need somebody, maybe 1 or 2. We probably need another one at left wing back. Midfield, if you lose Hackney, you need to replace Hackney. You need to replace Howson. And you probably need to upgrade on Dan Barlasser. So midfield's a big one. If we're playing 2 10s, I think we're all right because you could have Whittaker, you could have Azaz, you could have McGree. And then up front, that's a 3-4-2-1. So then on the 2 either side, it depends if he wants to play with wingers or inverted wingers. If he wants to play with inverted wingers, I still think we need better than Silvera, Hamilton. Depends if we want to play out-and-out wingers. Because if we do, we haven't got many out-and-out wingers at all. But if he wants to play a 3-4-1-2, then you need strikers. So, oh, man. Oh, we've got so much work to do. So, yeah, that was a long-winded answer, mate. Short-winded answer. A lot. A lot of positions, yes. J Pearson 678 says 2 signings minimum needed by this time next week. Yeah, I'd agree with that completely. Completely agree with that, mate. Eddie Dean says, as frustrating as last season was, with better defenders, we'd have made the playoffs. We definitely need a striker, but I think we've got some really good attacking players. Yeah, I think we do. I agree with that. Yeah, I think we've still got good attackers. You know, we have Azaz, who was one of the highest goal contributors in the league. I think Tommy Conway's a 20-goal-a-season striker if he stays fit. It depends, again, as I say, if we need wingers, if we play with inverted wingers or inside forwards. But I do agree. I think we're not too bad for attackers. It's the depth in behind them. You know, what happens is if Azaz gets injured, what happens if Conway gets injured. But yeah, defensively, we've got to be so much better. We really do. We've got some celebrity names dropping in. Dwayne Johnson's Middlesbrough. Ah, yes, of course. Chris knows I'm a big wrestling fan, and The Rock's my goat. So, oh man, Dwayne Johnson. God, that would be so cool. Imagine all the Borough merch, but with like the Brahma bull on it. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I want that. The final boss as Borough's owner. Co-owner. Andy Simpson, knowing our luck, if Borough got an American club, it would be Musk or Trump. Oh, God, please, no. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, imagine if it was Musk. Borough, sponsored by Tesla. There'd just be Teslas all over the ground. Every Borough fan gets a free Tesla. Oh, and Trump doesn't bear thinking about. My God, don't even joke about that potential. Just no. Why can't I say your name? Bon Porvis. Let me know if I'm butchering your name, because I feel like I am. Brad Pitt flew over Borough once, but was on the wrong plane. What? Yeah, maybe he'll parachute in the Riverside, or maybe Tom Cruise will, Mission Impossible style, or Top Gun. He'll just fly over it in a jet. Caleb's Kingdom. Which current Borough player do you think will be which current Borough player do you think will be a Borough legend? Are there any Borough players that would go on to be a legend? I don't think there's any Borough players currently that would go on to be a legend. Unless Conway scored 30 goals and sent us to the Premier League. He could be looked at as a Paul Merson-like legend. But I can't see any Borough players being legend at the minute. That sounds quite depressing, that, doesn't it? But that's the reality, I would say. Tarnish says, got to nip out, try and enjoy Mansfield tomorrow. I'll catch up with the stream later up the Borough. Yeah, thanks for jumping in, bud. Try and enjoy Mansfield. I'm sure I will. I mean, it's a pre-season game. There's nothing riding on it. As long as I come back having had a good day. As long as we don't get beat 6-0 like... Was it QPR? Did QPR get beat 6-0 in a friendly? I know Coventry got beat 5-0, didn't they? God. Imagine if that was Borough. God, the meltdown. Would be insane. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be okay. Fingers crossed. But thanks for jumping in, mate. Eddie Dean, we should get Kanye to invest. At least it would be a laugh. I don't know, like... I think Kanye would get the club bloody cancelled, to be honest with you. I don't know if a laugh's the right word. James says, still think we need another keeper if Sol gets injured. Glover doesn't fill me with confidence. What you thinking? Yeah, good point that, to be honest, mate. Yeah, behind Sol. Yeah, there's not really a keeper I trust. Yes, I mean, to think I was once the chairman of the Seny Dieng fan club. My God, that's dissolved completely. Yeah, that's a good point. I wouldn't mind another keeper. I think I'm happy with Sol as the number one. But yeah, it's a good point that maybe another keeper. Yeah, because I agree. I'm not sold on either Glover or Dieng, to be honest. Connor just says Borough promotion. I hope you're right, mate. I don't know what you're basing that off of, but I hope you're right. Andy Simpson, I think seriously one of the big issues with Borough is the lack of communication between the club and supporters. Gibson does not need to tell us every financial detail. RE club, but no comms at all is no good. Yeah, I mean, they've gotten better. I think the events I've been to have been really good. The retail events that I went to last season, everything we asked for has been done. So, like, we wanted, I think it was put forward that they'd push more and use Rory more as a sort of asset. And there's now like a Rory a section in the club shop. We did ask if they could revamp and really spruce up the club shop. They've done that. So a lot of the stuff that was mentioned at the retail event, they've actually done. So I can't complain with the club. In regards to some of the stuff they've done. The Meet the Staff events were good. Really enjoyed them. The kit launch was really different. But yeah, I guess fans want to hear more from the chairman. And I feel like Gibson's not really come out and said much since the whole Smash the League statement, if you remember. And I to this day, I'm sure he said we want to smash the league. I don't think he ever said we will smash the league, but it has just been held against him since. And I don't know if since then he's been a little bit uneasy about speaking to fans. But I'd love to hear from Gibson more. 100%. I think we all would. But I think, you know, with how easily things can be taken out of context and stuff, in a way, I think Gibson's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't with some of the stuff that he says. But I would love more comms from him, but I don't think we'll ever really get the full lowdown of what's happening at Borough. They might leak out and hand a few tidbits out to the journals, but that's as good as it'll get. Jonathan says, do you think the whole recruitment stuff is another repeat of the process we went through getting Edwards in? Even though we knew it was Edwards, trying to not make the same mistake as January. Maybe. I don't know if we are taking it super cautiously because we're desperate not to screw it up. I do think Scott's head's on the block a little bit this season. I do. Because I do believe it was him who probably wanted Carrick to move on. There's a lot of rumours around how it came to be. I don't know if any. I don't subscribe to anything 100%. I do think there was possibly a bit of friction there, and their relationship may have broken down to a degree. But what I will say is, I do feel like Scott was the one who wanted Carrick out. Gibson didn't. So it's on Scott. Like, you know, Edwards is your guy. If this goes wrong, Scott's head could be on the chopping block. And then obviously there's a lot of pressure on recruitment as well. It's a big, big summer for Kieran Scott. I do believe that. So, yeah, it's a big one. Excuse me. I have a cunning plan. Brilliant. Love the Blackadder reference. Josh says, hi, Matt, how's it going? I'm good, buddy. It's so good to see you in the chat. For any of you guys who don't know, Josh Keach, he is one of the longest, possibly the longest subscriber on this channel. He has been a dedicated subscriber since I started this channel in 2019 when I just did gaming stuff and I did like F1 and FIFA. He is Josh, and I'm not singling out anyone and saying they're not, but Josh has been one of the most dedicated subscribers to this channel, and yeah, big up Josh. I really appreciate you, pal, and I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Caleb, Matt, I know it's not about Borough, but what were your top 5 favourite things to watch when you were younger? Did you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender? I do recall watching it. I wouldn't say I watched it religiously. I loved watching Doctor Who. I loved watching anything sci-fi, so Star Wars. I'm a bit of a Star Wars nerd. You won't be able to see it, but I've got some Star Wars artwork up here. You'll never see it in the videos, but I've got BB-8. I did have a Darth Vader. Yeah, he's still down there. There's Doctor Who artwork here. You won't be able to see. I've got some on top of my trophy cabinet. So I used to love watching anything sci-fi, Doctor Who, Star Wars. I never watched Star Trek. Don't know why. Top Gear. Oh, love Top Gear. I love cars. I love anything automotive. So I loved Top Gear as a kid. There's 3. What else did I like to watch as a kid? I've never been a big TV watcher, to be honest. I've never been big on watching TV. I don't mind James Bond. Oh, I don't think I can show you guys because it's... My setup is so amateur, you wouldn't believe it, but my current setup is my Mac is sat on top of a stack of DVDs, right? The bottom of it is my Bond 50 box set. It's one of my most prized possessions. I love James Bond. I love that franchise so much. I'm not going to try and show you it because I might knock stuff over, but there you go. Jonathan, are you doing post-game reviews of the pre-season games? That's if you're going to them. Probably not a full review. I'm doing Mansfield, Rangers, Hartlepool and Deportivo. So I'm doing 4 of the 5 because I'm an idiot and I'm a mug for this football club. I might put something on TikTok. Yeah, so probably not a full review, but I might drop some stuff on TikTok. I'll see. I might do a roundup. Depends what happens. I think it is more interesting this summer because we have no idea how we're going to set up and how the squad's going to look. Ron says, I hope McGree has a full season and gets back to being at his best. Same with Lenihan and Bangura. Me too, mate. I know a lot of people say it's like having 3 new signings. Yeah, I don't know about that, but McGree, absolutely. He's a fantastic player, Riley McGree. I'd love to have him fully fit. Bangura, we've saw what he can do to an extent. I'm not like massively set on how good Bangura is going to be, but Lenihan I think would be a huge addition to Boro's centre back. The defence. So them two definitely. I think if we can get McGree and Lenihan fully fit, I think they'd definitely be huge boosts. Ben Strickland is here. How are you doing, pal? Hope you're good, my friend. Big fan of the breakdown as well. Good to see you in the comments. Surely if Edwards is adamant on the back 5, then a 3-4-2-1 with 2 10s makes the most sense. I'm concerned this season, though. Jones, Ings are huge red flags. Yeah, I would agree with the 3-4-2-1. Just because, as I think I mentioned it earlier, I think we've got quite a few players. My desk has just gotten extremely wobbly. That's a bit of a worry. I'm not going to move anymore. Yeah, I would agree on the 3-4-2-1 because I feel like we've got a couple of players who can play in the 10. Azaz, Whittaker, McGree. There could be a few players that could play there, and I think Conway, as we know, is the shoe-in to play up top. So, that was the first formation I thought of as well, 3-4-2-1. But yeah, I'm not big on the Jones signing either, if I'm honest. And if Wrexham want to pay 3 million for him, then I'm happy for us to let that happen. Danny Ings is a very divisive one. I very much am in the camp, as I say, that if he's here as a squad player and we're not overpaying for his wages, I don't mind him being a part of the squad, but I'm not comfortable with him being the direct backup to Conway. I was listening to the Northern Echoes podcast earlier, and they very much sounded like he would be the backup, and I feel a bit nervous about that, I'm going to be honest. So, yeah, if that's our intention for Danny Ings, then yeah, I agree with the red flags. If he was a third choice striker, I wouldn't mind it so much, but if he is the backup to Tommy Conway, yeah, I've got the same red flags you have, pal. Andy Simpson says, Boro transfer news after extensive talks. Uruguayan striker Diego Forlan agrees to join Boro until he reaches Teesside Airport. I think as the old story goes. Am I right? I might be right there. Michael says the tea lady from Hartlepool still not arrived? No, sadly she's off to Wrexham. We've been outbid for her, and she is off to make Ryan Reynolds' tea at Wrexham. Ben is back again. We should bring in versatile players who are capable of playing a 4 if Edwards doesn't work out. Yeah, it's a good plan, that. A good point. I.e. not sign a player who was only suited to wing back. That's a good point, actually, because, yeah, if things don't work out and we have to fall back on a system or on I guess, a default style of play that suits Boro's squad, you would say a back four. And I am starting to see more and more hints that we might be sticking with a back four. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that happens. Time will tell. I'm getting more and more intrigued to see what we do at Mansfield tomorrow, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's a good point. I don't know if Britton is that kind of signing. You know, he can be a right wing back if we need him to be. I have heard that he's got a good delivery on him. I know when we were chatting in the breakdown chat, because Dana and Johnny are already sort of getting themselves ready for the lowdowns. That's their speciality. I'm not going to pretend to be anywhere near as knowledgeable as them two when it comes to players and how good they are, and looking at Y-Scout and analysing them. But they were saying, and I'll take their word for it, that Britton's not a very good 1v1 defender. So maybe he is better suited to a wing-back system if there's a good right centre-half covering him and he has got a good delivery on him. So that's where I'm sort of thinking, yeah, back five, Britton, okay, that works. But then I guess if we do have to fall into a back four, he could do that job too. So it's a good point you make there, mate, and I agree with it. Janino says, is this the last year? Is this the year McGree shines, or is he still made of glass? It's a shame to see, as I think Boro are a better side with McGree in it. Yeah, I think we're a better side with McGree. I'd love it to be the season, mate. I really would. I think Boro, did they send him off to a specialist? Whether that's gotten to the bottom of anything, I don't know. But yeah, I really do hope McGree has a fully fit season where he can thrive and he can play. Yeah, I'd love that to be the case. Richard Higginbottom says, Barley Mumba. He's been one of them players that has been linked endlessly, but every time he's been linked, it's been quickly squashed. So I'm not so sure Barley Mumba is or ever has been massively on Boro's radar. I'm going to be honest. Jonathan says, wasn't there something about Glover going to Azerbaijan? What? That's the first I've heard. Azerbaijan? I couldn't name you a club in Azerbaijan. First I've known, mate. But I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to move on, because the World Cup's coming up and he might want to get in Australia's team. So I wouldn't blame him if he wants to head off for game time for that. Bon Pourvu. Bon Pourvu. Oh, I've been completely it means good for you in English. Okay. Bon Pourvu. I'm still butchering it. Bon Pourvu. Oh, I'm going to stop. I'm going to embarrass myself. Little Legs 45, which is a fantastic name, by the way. Do you think the players are training with a smile on their faces, i.e. McGree? They seem to be. I hope so. I mean, the training stuff's all looked all well and good. The club are never going to put out a video of them training and looking miserable, so I guess we'll never know, but I hope so. I hope they're training with a smile on their face and they're enjoying the training. Josh is back, thank you, appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you, my friend. There will be others, of course. Chris, who's your favourite Bond girl? Who's my favourite Bond girl? See, we've just been marathoning the Bond films, and we've stopped. We've not watched one in a few weeks. We got up to Roger Moore's last film, A View to a Kill. I flipping love A View to a Kill, by the way. The soundtrack is so good. It's got Christopher Walken. They have like the final fight on top of the Golden Gate Bridge. Oh, it's so good. Who's my favourite Bond girl? Right, you know what I'm going to do? This is going to go terribly wrong. Right, I'm going to drop you down. Oh, God. I'm a bit lower. For the one reason that at the bottom, there it is. There it is, guys. The Bond 50 box set. It's a bit battered, a bit dusty, but it is one of my most prized possessions. And it's got 2 booklets in it. and one's black and white for the older films, which is quite a nice touch, and the other's gold for the newer films. Blame Chris for this. I am now going to have to look through this to see who my favourite Bond girl is, because I'm sure they're pictured. There they are. See? Alongside every film, the Bond girl is there. How cool is this box set, by the way? I know this is a Borough channel, but I just want to say that I love this box set so much. I'm not going to pretend to remember the names of any of these. I do think the Bond girl and Doctor No had a really bloody an innuendo name that's maybe not the right idea to repeat. I can't remember the names of these Bond girls, so I'm just going to have to... who was in Goldfinger? Was it Pussy Galore? Pussy Galore, God. It's probably going to be one of the more modern ones, because I grew up on Pierce Brosnan, and I love Pierce Brosnan. So none of them in that. Chris, what have you done? You've knocked this Borough stream, and it's gone completely to pot, and now we're talking about Bond girls. So I'm going to make... I don't know. Is Halle Berry a really predictable answer? The one in Casino Royale, she was quite good. I can't remember her name though. So I'm not going to pretend I don't know the Bond girls that well. So I don't know. I'm going to just say Halle Berry, because that is the most cheap answer. And she was in one of the Brosnan films. Was it Die Another Day? I can't remember. And I grew up on Brosnan, who is my favourite Bond, by the way. Anyway, blame Chris for that complete sideways diverge of topic. Josh says, nice Star Wars and Top Gear are two of my favourites too. They're absolutely amazing. Thoughts on Harry Potter? Shoot me. I have seen some of the Harry Potters, but I've not seen them all. It's never been a franchise that has particularly... it's not been a franchise that I've ever really gotten that hooked on. I'm going to be honest. That's probably a really controversial opinion, isn't it? But I've not watched all the Harry Potter films. I've seen The Philosopher's Stone about 1,000 times, and it used to creep the crap out of me when I was a kid. Voldemort used to terrify me. So I don't have an opinion on Harry Potter. I've not really watched them all, and that's probably earned me an unsubscribe by Connor. Not Connor, Caleb, sorry. Connor's the next question. Favourite console? I've got a PS5 now, but I barely use it. I've got a PS3, and I only bought that because I've never owned a PS3. The console I probably played the most on as a kid was either my PS2 or an Xbox 360. So one of them old-fashioned... Oh, I had a PS1 as well. I used to love my PS1. That's how old I am. Oh, no, hang on. I'm getting these mixed up completely. Little Eggs. I hope it gives the young players a chance. Not like Mr. Carrick. Yeah, no, I agree. Borough have always had a really good plethora of young talent coming through. Hayden Hackney is, the biggest example, of course. Josh Coburn's not a bad example either. You know, Borough have made a decent profit off of him. Sol Bryn might be another. But I would like to see more players come in. I mean, there's a hole in midfield. I wouldn't mind seeing how Law McCabe is, to be honest. In that god-awful defeat to Blackburn in the FA Cup, he was probably one of our best players that day, Law McCabe. So I'd like him to see if he can come through. Maybe George McCormick could come through. I don't know if the Bailey twins are still at Borough. There were rumours they were getting sold. But yeah, I definitely would love to see the young players given a chance. But as Edwards rightfully said, only if they are given the correct screen time. Screen time, my God, I'm thinking of James Bond. They're given a chance and they take their chance. I'm all to pot. Chris and the Bond girl chatters through me completely. Sing your favourite Borough song. I don't have a favourite Borough song. I will say that the chants we've got nowadays just aren't as good as what they used to be. I'm trying to think of a Borough chant that I used to really like back in the day. The Karanka Labamba one was pretty good. I'm not going to sing it though. But that was a good chant. You know, I talk Karanka, that one. Kellyanne, love your channel. I got into football last year and watching helps me sound knowledgeable when discussing the footy with my dad and my partner. Thank you. Well, if you're passing on any of the stuff I'm saying, you probably aren't sounding knowledgeable because I probably chat nonsense. So I don't know how wise it is to, mimic what or copy what I say. But I really appreciate the comment, and I'm glad you got into football. I hope you love it, and I appreciate the kind comment about the channel. Thank you very much. Andy says, in your lifetime, who are your top Borough team? 3-5-2 formation. Wow, okay. 3-5-2. Best Borough players we've ever had. So bear in mind, I was born in 96, and my earliest memories were 2004. So not all of them players were in my time. So 3-5-2. So I'm guessing we're going to have 2 central midfielders, 2 wing backs, a 10, and 2 strikers. Right? 3-5-1-2. Why am I struggling to 3-5-2? Right, I'm going to just try and wing this. So Schwarzer would be my keeper. Right wing back. Oh God. You know what? I'm gonna completely cheat because I think he'd have been a mad right wing back, Adama Traore. Just one of the most exciting Borough players I've ever seen. Left wing back. Oh God, we've not had. Have we had many great left backs? Was Ziga a left back? Oh, I can't remember, as I say. Let me have a look. I'm going to cheat with this one because I suddenly can't think of any good left wing. Actually, no. I'll tell you what I'm going to say. If the left hand side is a wing back, Downing for his crossing. So Downing and Adama are the wing backs. That sounds hilarious, I know. The 3 centre backs. Yeah. Southgate, Woodgate, and Ugo Ehiog. Yeah, because Woodgate, let's not forget how good he was when fit. So yeah, they'd be my back 5. The 2 midfielders would be this is in my lifetime, Mendieta and maybe Boateng. And then the 10 would be Juninho, every day of the week, my favourite all-time Borough player. And then strikers, we've actually had some good strikers at Borough, but obviously I always think back to that period in 06, or 5 or 6. It would be 2 of Hasselbank, Viduka or Yakubu. So I'd probably say Hasselbank and Viduka. But yeah, you could have Ravanelli, you could have Merson, you could have... did I say Ravanelli? You could have Negredo, massively underrated. I think in the Premier League season. So yeah, we've had some good players at Borough. Oh, I've just saw Quadru. Oh, Quadru, of course. I'd still put Downing there just because I'd have him in for his crossing. You could have just said Vesper Lind. Which one's Vesper Lind? Who's Vesper Lind? That's Vesper Lind. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. So yeah, that one. Her. I don't know. Eva Green. Yeah. Will you ever do a collab with Invictus? I don't see why not. I've never really interacted with him. I mean, he's a great content creator. Really energetic, really funny. Yeah, he's great to have in Borough's fan base. Is Rye. But I've never really interacted with him. So, yeah, it'd be cool, but we've not yet crossed paths. Jay Pearson says, I think Woolston could be a proper player for us. Looking forward to hopefully seeing him in pre-season. Yeah, I am too, yeah. It's intriguing to see that he was one of the chosen players who was taken to Portugal for pre-season. So we'll see how much Edwards is a fan of him. I'm just checking my messages 2 seconds, guys, because I do need to be wary of when I need to pick Liv up from her night out. She's out having drinks with loads of Borough girls. Forgive me. The Bond box set looks really cool, though irrelevant to the stream topic. Yeah, don't go there. We've completely unravelled. Blame Chris for that. Caleb's Kingdom, no problem. I won't unsubscribe. You are goated. You love Star Wars. Massive respect for that. Thank you. Yeah, Star Wars is awesome. I'm not a big fan of the sequels, I'll be honest. But I am a big lover of Revenge of the Sith. I will stand by that film for the rest of time. I love Revenge of the Sith. It probably is my favourite Star Wars film. By how it, I just love it. I love it so much. I don't have anything Star Wars to hand. I don't think. I used to have all the films somewhere. But yeah, it would probably, from top to bottom. Oh, and by the way, Rogue One. Rogue One's a brilliant film as well. My Star Wars films in order of favourite, I would say Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope, Phantom Menace, what's the 7th film called? The one it came back with. I can't believe I forgot. Oh my god. What was episode 7 called? I'm going to kick myself. The Force Awakens. Then it'd be The Force Awakens. Then it'd probably be Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi, Attack of the Clones, and then Solo, because I thought Solo was rubbish. Rubbish. Would the Borough Breakdown do any live streams like this? Been really good. I can always put it forward, Jonathan. We've discussed a lot of stuff, to be honest, that we want to do this season that's different. I think with live streams, it's just getting us all together at the right time. It's definitely something we've discussed, though. You know, with the breakdown, it would have to stay strictly Borough, but it would be. I think we spoke about potentially doing like post-game reactions. So obviously they couldn't be home games because you're at the Riverside and you've got to get home and stuff. But I think if we ever had an away game that none of us were at, we have considered doing like post-game live streams. So yeah, it's been a consideration. We've not committed to it, but I can certainly mention it. If that's something you would like the breakdown guys to do, absolutely, that would be cool. Josh says, do you think it might be easier for teams on the cusp of the playoffs, just outside, to get promoted next season than this one? I don't know, because I think it's going to be so competitive this season. I think the top 3 are probably going to be Ipswich, Southampton, and Sheffield United. And then I'm looking at 4th, 5th, 6th. I'm pretty set on Coventry being in there. I think Birmingham get in. I do. I think Birmingham get in. And then after that, yeah, it could be Borough, Bristol City, Watford, Norwich, West Brom. You could have Wrexham even. So I think it's going to be tough. I really do. But in terms of getting promoted, well, as much as I'd hate to say it, Sunderland proved, didn't they, that it's possible, and they actually went into the playoffs without any momentum. And normally, as the rule goes, you need momentum, so they say. But Sunderland had none, and they still got in. So I find that crazy. So it could happen, I guess. But I could see one of Ipswich, Sheffield United, or Southampton going back up, and then maybe a Coventry getting through via the playoffs. Someone like that. Sadly, I don't think we'll be in the playoffs. It's too competitive. I think Borough would be 10th at best. Don't know. But anything can happen. I thought last season would be a pretty competitive season. It ended up being the worst ever. So, yeah. Who knows, mate? Who knows? Timothy Dalton, License to Kill, best Bond movie. Yeah, to be fair, Eddie, I did a ranking on my phone when we last watched through them all. And License to Kill was one of the few Bond films I gave a 10 out of 10. So, big fan. Big fan. I love this. It's titled Borough's Summer so far. And because so little has happened, we're talking about Bond. I love it. Caleb, what is your top 5 favourite TV shows? As I say, mate, I don't watch TV. I never have done. I'm more into movie franchises than I am TV shows. So I guess my top 5 TV shows, I don't even know if there's 5 TV shows I love. Doctor Who, Top Gear, The Walking Dead. I used to like The Walking Dead quite a bit. I can't think of any. I can't think of 5 TV shows I've genuinely loved. I'm going to be honest. The Bond box set is outstanding. Chris was spot on with Eva Green. Are you planning on doing many away games this season? We are planning on doing quite a few. None of them are imminent, though, because we're going on holiday in October. And a lot of the games that we've got, a lot of the away games early season are quite far away, aren't they? Why am I doing that? I could just go on FootMob, couldn't I? Never mind. So, yeah, because we're going away, we can't afford to do any away games until after we get back. So, unfortunately, Millwall, Norwich, we can't do. We could actually do Preston, but I don't think we will. So the first away game we're earmarking is Sheffield Wednesday on the 22nd of October. That's midweek. And then I think November, we want to do Leicester, maybe Oxford. December, might do Hull again. That's it for December. Definitely want to go to Derby on New Year's Day. West Brom would be good. Might go back to Bramall Lane. Can't do the CBS because I'm away. That's on my birthday. So that'd have been a nice birthday present, losing 3-0 to Coventry. But no, not doing that. Not here. I would like to do Birmingham at the end of Feb. Blackburn could do again. Had a good away day there last season, of course. Ipswich wouldn't be a bad one to do in April. It's just before Liv's birthday, so that could be a decent trek. I know it's a long way away, but I'm a bit lazy when it comes to driving to long away games. Says the guy who's driving to Rangers next weekend. But Ipswich wouldn't be I might do Ipswich. And then Wrexham would be an outstanding one to do. But as Chris will tell you if he's still in the comments, getting tickets to that will be next to impossible. Have you watched Andor? I haven't actually, mate. I've heard good things, though. I've not actually watched Andor. The problem is, at the minute, with Marvel and Star Wars, there are so many bloody TV shows alongside the films. It's so hard to keep up. There's a franchise I used to bloody love, Marvel. I had all the Blu-rays for every film up until Endgame. And then I've just fell off of Marvel completely. Yeah, it's just, there's too many TV shows, too many movies. It's so difficult to keep up. Josh agrees with my Star Wars take. Prequels all the way. Yes, I agree, mate. Mason, how did the Borough Breakdown come about? How did you become a part of it? Well, I when it comes to the breakdown, it was around a long time before I joined. I'm a tiny part of the Borough Breakdown. The other guys who do it, they deserve so much credit. They're the absolute best, honestly. As for the breakdown, Johnny started it. Bloody hell. I think Woodgate was in charge when Johnny... was it Woodgate? He's been doing it a while. But Johnny started the podcast on his own. Dana joined quite shortly after because she used to run the Everything MFC Borough Facebook social page, if you remember. I think it was a Twitter page, and it had like 21,000 followers. I think at one stage it had more followers than Borough's official account did. There's some weird fact around Dana's Everything MFC, but she did such a good job with that. She joined the breakdown, and then they were a duo. Then they had a guy called Elliot join, who I don't know Elliot, but he joined for a bit. He left. Tom joined, and they were the duo for a while. And I actually originally joined the breakdown as a graphic designer because that's my day job. I'm a designer, digital designer by day, which obviously helps a lot with YouTube and thumbnails and all the creative stuff that I need to do for YouTube. But I actually joined initially just as a graphic designer because me and Johnny, I can't remember how we got into contact, but he said, we want to spruce up our graphics. Do you fancy joining and helping? So I was like, absolutely. And I think because I was already doing YouTube, they noticed my YouTube stuff and said, oh, you're quite comfortable in front of a camera. Do you want to join the team actually being on the pod? And I was like, yeah, I'll chip in. So I was happy to chip in when one of the three guys were busy. And then in the end, we've just become a four, really. And it's useful because, as we all get older, all the guys have got really important work they do outside of the podcast. So we can't always be free every week. And it's good to swap and chip around and, give one of us a break every few weeks. Like if Johnny's feeling burnt out or if Dana's feeling burnt out or Tom's busy, it's good to have four of us to sort of rotate. But I'm super grateful to be on the breakdown, honestly. I was a super fan before I joined. I love the podcast. So I still pinch myself that I was even their graphic designer. Never mind actually being on the pod and being really good mates with them. They were like three Borough content creators that I used to look up to and think, my God, they're so cool. They make the best podcast there is. And to be like really good friends with them all now, we chat every day. We're really good mates above and beyond Borough. Yeah, I do pinch myself at times. I'm making them sound like celebrities, but they are really, really cool guys, and I'm super grateful to be a part of the breakdown. It is not only one of the best podcasts out there, but it's one of the best Borough podcasts. It's one of the best football podcasts out there. It really is. Andy Smith says underrated / undervalued players. Randolph and Sue, Fry, Wheater, Borges, Deriva, Carambrew, Ince, Barry Robson, James Morrison, Macaroni, Christie, Boxic, Alan Armstrong, when above fit. Can't agree with a lot of them. Did you mention Deriva? Deriva's always an underrated player that I always think of, as well as an Adam Clayton. Again, I'm showing the era of Borough I grew up in. Barry Robson's a great shout. Yeah, there's quite a few. What are the top 5 favourite Star Wars characters? Mine are Darth Vader, Qui-Gon, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan and R2. Yeah, you can't not love Vader. Can I pair Anakin and Vader together? Because I love Anakin's story arc. I'll pair them together because they are the same person. Anakin / Darth Vader. I do love R2-D2. I love Darth Maul. Oh, I love Darth Maul. He was my favourite as a kid. The double lightsaber. I mean, as a kid, that blew my head off. I was like, double lightsaber, what? So I'd say Darth Maul, Qui-Gon's underrated. I do love Qui-Gon the more I watch it, but I can't look past Obi-Wan. And Yoda. Got to include Yoda. Got to. There's so many though, like Darth Sidious is awesome. Mace Windu is awesome. Qui-Gon is awesome. There's so many. Josh says, hi Matt, been watching since the start of last season. Really enjoy your videos and the editing and thought put into them. Look forward to seeing where the gaming channel goes. Yes, thank you very much, Josh. Yes, the gaming channel, yes, that is, as I mentioned in the update, it is just a place to put gaming content as and when we want to do it. I wanted to make it clear this channel remains my absolute priority, my absolute focus. Honestly, the growth that this channel is going through at the minute is brilliant. It is absolutely amazing, and I'm so grateful for all the viewers. The views are going up, the subs are going up at a rate quicker than they ever have before, so I would be stupid to abandon what I'm doing right now with this channel. There's just been a really loud noise downstairs. I'm going to go and check that. We're looking after the mother-in-law's parrot, and there's been a loud bang, and the rabbit's downstairs as well, so thank you, bud. I will get back to that. I'm going to go and just check what the hell that racket was too. All is well. No one's hurt themselves. Anyway, where was I? Yes, the gaming channel. Yes, so as I mentioned in the video, the gaming channel, it's a separate place to upload gaming content if, as and when, I want to create any, because I don't play games as often as I used to, but I've got myself a gaming laptop now, and I thought, you know what, if I do, play games, it would be a good, it'd be good to drop them on there, because, as I say, it's impossible to do both on this channel, so, it would feel like I'd be shoehorning gaming stuff. It would just disrupt the flow of this channel now, I would say, because we've got that much good stuff going on it, so, if and as and when I do a bit of gaming content, they're going to be on there. So yeah, if anyone in here does not know, MAR Gaming is a second channel. There's no pressure on it. We're not striving to do anything crazy, but if you're interested in seeing me play any sort of games, then I'll drop a link in the comments. Please go and subscribe to it if you haven't already. It's already got 40 subs, which I think is I'm pretty happy with that, actually. So I could play anything, as I said, my initial instinct is always to, right, I need to commit fully, I need to do this, I need to make this, I need to go crazy, but I'm trying just to sit back and go, right, this channel, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but I'm sort of trying to be like, just do it as and when you want, do it when you're playing a game, there's no pressure, don't raise the expectations of the subs to make them think that there's going to be content all the time. I'll drop gaming stuff as and when. I've started playing The Walking Dead on my gaming laptop, which is a really cool story game where every decision you make changes the whole story. I've done series 1, but I might replay it just for the channel, and I might upload them. But I tell you what does look good this year, and I'm crossing everything, and I'm going to bite this very hard as I say it. But FIFA, I'm going to regret saying this because I don't want to be sucked in. FIFA looks quite good this year, and I'm going to regret saying that now. So yeah, that could be a cool thing to do, because it is sort of related to what we do on here anyway with Borough and football. But yeah, nothing is off limits, so we'll see. But I appreciate the comment, Josh. Chris, what's your favourite alcoholic beverage of choice if you could crack open a drink after this stream? Well, you know what, mate? It changes quite a lot, and I don't know if it's age that changes. When I was younger, I used to hate beer, so I'd only ever drink cider. Then I went on a random period of loving gin. Now I've gone off gin completely and I don't drink it anymore. And now I'm massive on beer. I love Coors. Coors is my current drink. I'd crack open a can of Coors. That's the beer of choice. I went through a spell where I was just loving Corona, but yeah, I would say Coors. Andy Simpson, gotta go now, mate. Great stream, and thanks for all the time and effort you put into the shows. Thank you very much, pal. Thanks for joining me. And yes, big thanks for jumping in. Yeah, I'll be jumping off in a sec, guys. It's gone a lot longer than I thought, and not much Borough chat, but hey, it's cool that we can chat about other things. Jonathan's off as well. Great show. You are celebs to me and my daughter. Oh my goodness. Always point and say it's the guy off YouTube. My God. Well, if you do see me around, Jonathan, if you're still here or if you've stopped watching, come up and say hi. Honestly, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just a mouthy Borough fan who likes to share his opinion online, and hopefully doesn't make too many crap takes. But yeah, honestly, don't hesitate. I love chatting with anyone and everyone. Jay Pearson says, did you say that they mentioned at the kit launch there was going to be a third kit? Yeah, they did. They said there'd be a third kit. There'd be an away kit at some point in the coming weeks, and I think a third shirt's probably going to come after the season starts, probably, because we don't need a third kit until we play a team that's playing in red and I guess blue or black, which is what we think the away kit's going to look like. So I would say the third kit's going to be something like maybe all white or something. I don't know, but there will be one, I think. The Last of Us isn't a bad shout. Weirdly, Caleb, I've never played the second one. I loved the first one. I've never played the second one. So, yeah, that could be cool. And you've subbed. Thank you very much. Would you say Darth Vader is pure evil? Yes. Yes. Just. Until the... Because we know there's good in him. We know that's the whole point. We know there's good in him. And there is good in him. So I've changed my mind. I'm going to say no. There's good in him. In your opinion, where is the best parking spot at the Riverside? Outside the main car park. I normally park either in the Cineworld car park, or if we're running late, I'll park right next to the ground where it's where Argos B&M is. But getting out of there is horrible. You could be stuck in there for an hour. Whereas Cineworld, you can get out quite quick. So if I'm not running late, I'll park in Cineworld. And then just, it's a bit of a walk, but yeah. But yeah, I think, guys, that's where we're going to leave it. Honestly, I didn't expect to be going this long. I didn't expect so many people jumping in. I think we spiked at like 75 viewers, which is awesome. And yeah, we've ended up just talking about loads of other stuff. Probably because Borough are useless and haven't done anything yet. So a big thank you for joining me. Yes, as I say, things to come. The usual, you know, when the season starts, there'll be Project Borough previews and reviews of all the championship games. When it comes to pre-season, I might do sort of mini roundup videos, but there'll be nothing like the Project Borough reviews that we do normally. I don't know whether to do a full-on roundup or, you know, wait until all the pre-season games are done. We'll have to wait and see. But if you do want to see more content regarding that, I do upload a lot on TikTok. So that's a great place to, you know, find short-form content that I can record quicker. And I could get stuff from the games themselves. So there's that to come. Obviously, me and Chris are going to be back soon with a Project Borough podcast. We're going to be back to preview the season soon, before the season starts. We are also hoping to do a transfer podcast in August, and we're hoping to get a journo on as well who can actually give us a really good insight on the transfers, which would be awesome. And of course, there'll be loads of other stuff dotted in between. And yeah, the gaming channel is obviously there, and I'm hopefully going to start dropping bits on there as well as and when. So look out for all that good stuff. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Josh, my good man. Yeah, we'll definitely try and do more of these because yeah, they are really good fun. I think the last one I did was February, so it's been a while. But yeah, big thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned and subscribe for hopefully Borough news to come over the next couple of weeks when it comes to transfers, pre-season, and obviously the season's going to be here before we know it, and the circus of supporting Borough starts all over again. But yeah, take care, everybody, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you all very soon.